The Full Service Workers Alliance is a group that I co-founded with a friend of mine. We are a loose group of about 1,100 full service workers, and that includes front of the house and back of the house.
Thank you. Are you aware, since you founded the organization, I assume you are, that a former FSWA member so severely misrepresented his role in the group and the details of the Seattle secure scheduling law in a King 5 TV news interview that the station's news director was forced to pull it down and apologize to viewers?
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Okay, well, I'd be happy to take that information from you so that we can understand, because this is what our research has shown, and I wanted to make sure that people actually know what the organization is.
I don't think it's a responsible piece of legislation if it's not actually drafted with considering those individuals and how it will impact them.
There's a new proposal in Seattle, and it could impact tens of thousands of people who work in all kinds of businesses. If it's not law yet, but if it does pass City Council, your boss would need to follow some tough new rules regarding your schedule.
It's meant to protect workers, but is the city overstepping its authority? And what would it cost? King 5's Dan Casuto is tracking the developments, joins us live with more. Dan?
Lori and Amanda, the bill would affect thousands of workers at places like Krispy Kreme, Target, Nordstrom, McDonald's, and Starbucks. And it was supposed to give those workers more rights about their schedule. But some of those workers are saying, we don't want those rights. This is government interfering in business.
Here's a guy who would get new rights if this law passes.
Thank you guys so much.
Sean David is a waiter at the Tanaka-san restaurant in Belltown. The mayor wants to force his boss to give him schedules 2 weeks in advance, extra pay if his hours change, and extra pay for working back-to-back closing and then opening shifts. And here's the catch. Sean David and many other waiters all over Seattle say thanks, but no thanks.
This legislation would impose bureaucratic red tape in which I could not work a back-to-back shift.
It'll just create a lot more stability while maintaining a lot of flexibility.
And here's the other side of the argument. Taylor Velasquez is a Starbucks barista. She's involved with the pro-union group Working Washington, and they'd love for this to become law.
It's really hard for me to budget. It's really hard for me to plan my life because of how inconsistent not only my schedule is, but the amount of hours that I get is.
Those restrictions that they're putting on businesses make it impossible for us to do what we already do and the flexibility we already have.
We found workers fighting hard for and hard against these new rules. They'd apply to businesses with more than 500 workers, the Targets, Nordstroms, Costco's, and McDonald's of Seattle. More rights, but the question is, at what cost?
We don't want to be a part of this legislation.
I want to make sure that this legislation passes.
So even though Sean is advocating against this, and they are very active with the Facebook group, it would not apply to them because they work for a company that doesn't have 500 workers. There is a public hearing next Tuesday at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then the full City Council is expected to vote on this in the middle of next month. I'm live in Seattle, Dan Casuto, King 5 News.